that time. Would you rather pay 50,000 here?
Yes, now. I used to pay. Even the ones that have come now are very happy.
So they can't afford. So that they are maybe they can't. They've messed it up. If they are told that they are coming, and they would have added it to their bill. Their ticket money. If you have 50,000, okay, it's 50,000 a day. There's the way we have worked. Even the hotel, they will not have party. They will have party. They won't even notice. See, they've just put it in their bill. They will come. Yeah, and they'll be happy. Leave them. Ethiopian Airlines have called me. You know? And you know what this year, even the London one, they use it as a tip. This year will give you a standard fee. You can say 50, you can say 60. You will fix the price. So you get 100,000. That's your company. That's how we do it. So if you have said, okay, we calculate the fee, we add it to it, how much is 100 pounds?
Hello, good evening, ma'am. Hello.
How long will it be? You can start video, huh? You don't want to start video. You cannot say your because the host has stopped. Okay?
Can you hear me, ma? Good evening.
Let me put this on. This is the person that's doing it.
Hello. And I need the criteria. You can send to Logan because the time is going. I need you to retrieve the criteria thing. You need to note it. Hello.
Yeah, what happened?
The host has stopped the video. What's up? Hello.
Good evening, Chude.
Good evening. Okay, I wasn't sure you could hear me.
Yes, we're waiting for Neighbor.
Okay,
we can't hear her. Oh, okay.
Okay.
You have muted the video. The host has muted the video.
Sorry, hold on, it's live, yeah.
Yeah, you've unmuted our videos. You've muted our videos, sorry.
Okay, sorry, come in.
The video is muted. The video is muted.
Yeah, I'm trying to fix that, sorry.
From your end.
On my end, it's showing, so I don't know. Can you check your end, please?
Not showing from both our ends, no. It's not.
Okay. Oops, sorry. Okay. Great.
Okay. Can you see all of us now?
Yep.
Okay, fantastic. Good evening, ma.
Jude, long time. Chude,
Yes, ma'am. Great to see you.
I hope you are contesting elections in 2023. You know that's my problem.
Yes, ma'am. We have taken it into advisement.
Uh, I told Debola when he had his birthday.
Yes, you said
I
so.
just get somebody from amongst you. You can
Yes,
do it and push the person. And not that I have, I think it, it's okay, we'll talk about that later. Nice
later.
to see you. How's your mom?
She's very well, thank you, ma'am. How's the family, ma'am?
We thank you.
Fantastic. Okay,
So this will last how long?
45 minutes.
Oh, I thought you said 30. You know, this is
Okay,
Ramadan.
30 minutes. Within 30 to 45. So
Okay, no
I'll
problem.
work with
As long
30.
as we are
All
starting
right.
on time, because I
Yes,
need to
ma'am.
prepare to break my fast.
Okay, all right. Um, Shalom, yeah, can you confirm that we are live now? We can start immediately. Sheon, can you confirm we can start? Sheon, if I don't hear from you in a minute, I'll just kick off. Sorry, ma, if I don't hear from him in a minute, ma, I'll just start.
Okay, who are you expecting?
No, it's I want to be sure that we're streaming live and that people can see it and that we've started the
Okay.
conversation. Yes, ma'am. But because I can't see it from here. But I mean, since it's
No
recording.
problem. Let him confirm.
Okay.
These are the things that
All right. Can you call Chachi to confirm from Sharon that we can start? That is important first. Okay, fantastic. He says we can start now. I think they're recording. And welcome to Call of Duty, EIE's series of conversations about the Office of the Citizen at the time of a pandemic. And we're very glad that you could find time to speak to us now because I've seen how incredibly busy on and off stage you've been over the past. First question. I mean, I know the answer because I've known you for 20 years. I know a few things, at least 18 years. And I know a few things. You've had the same phone number for that time. You pick up your phone by yourself. You've been the same person. You've been unchanged by government ever since I've known you. So I feel like I have a sense of the answer to this question, but I will put it to you still. How are you able to still do the work that, I mean, irrespective of how anybody sees the work that you do, how is you able to do the work that you do, still engage constantly with the audience, despite the criticism, despite, the risk of, I don't know, saying something out of turn, despite, all those things that make government officials worried about engaging. How are you able to manage that?
Thank you very much, Chude. Yeah. And I'm glad to know that Chude has grown into this my very fantastic gentleman making waves. And I'm going to start by saying, I always tell you, you guys have to get involved in politics. Don't leave it
Yes, you said
the
so.
way I did. I mean, I just decided I was going to do it. And to God be the glory. Here I am. I think first about the person that you are. The person that you are shows when you have power or you have money or you have position. So the real you actually just shows. So I think this is just the real me and it's always been. It's tough,
Right.
I tell you. Very challenging,
Mm.
particularly with my decision that no matter what, I'll engage, on social media, I'm on Twitter.
Mm.
If you abuse me, well, I'll abuse you back. It's for all of us. So, but it's also an avenue to give information. So, and I think it comes with the job. If you're in
Yeah.
this business, don't be afraid of criticism. It's going to
Mm.
come all the time. But what?
Mm.
How do you handle it?
Mm.
And are you sincere enough? What are you being criticized about? We know that in today's days, a lot of criticism are not constructive. Just state instant judgment. Somebody posts something
Mm.
online, every other person carries it. In 24 hours, it's gone viral. By the time you're ready to say, oh, it's not true, it's gone viral, and it is not true. So it's the times that we are in now. And it comes with the job schedule. But for me, I always be my person. Who I am, what I do, nothing will change that because public office is not forever. Today I'm chairman of the Diaspora Commission. It's a team leader, but I'm going to leave. And I still have my friend, not just my phone number that I have for only one number, even my husband, but somebody suffers for it, that's my husband. Because I'm there taking my calls,
Yeah.
answering phone calls in the night,
Yeah.
spending time. First, give me some more attention and all that. So yeah, I know we have a very strong supportive family that understands you and supports you. I think it's good to go. It's a lot of challenge, I tell you.
Yeah.
Sometimes it gets to you. Don't let's pretend that it doesn't get to
Right.
you. So sometimes it does, but then hey, when one
Mm.
person is pulling you down, 10,000 are lifting you up. That gives you
Mm.
strength.
Mm.
If one
Mm.
person abuses you on social media, 500 are there to support you. And then you don't even have to say anything. So for me, it's part of the job. I think government officials should not be afraid to engage. Engage
Mm.
is an official thing. You're not
Mm.
engaging me on my personal life. If you attack my personal life, I attack you back.
Mm. Mm.
If you attack my personal life, I'll attack you back. So can you hear me better now?
Yes, I can hear you very clearly now. Very clearly.
Okay, so like I said, it's part of the job. And I'm waiting for you, Trudy, to
Yes.
contest elections, to be part of
Yes.
it, and
Yes.
I mean that sincerely, really,
I
really
know
sincerely.
you
So I
do.
keep encouraging younger ones. I have a mentoring platform. Be involved. So I like what you're doing. Maybe not you per se, if it's not a you, but there are people around you that you can encourage. We can't leave our country to just anybody. So for me, so far
Yeah.
so good. Like I said, there are a lot of challenges, but it's okay. Part of the job schedule.
Right. Fantastic. So I'm just going to, before coming to the real theme of this, which is, how Nigerians across the world can work together to overcome this. I know that I want to talk about, I know on Saturday there was some controversy about evacuation.
Mhm.
I know that people mentioned, and one of my friends, I think, tweeted at you about being stuck at the airport after being after landing from the UK. And I know you did answer that, but I think I'll be remiss if I didn't raise that here as to what exactly were the series of circumstances that led to that, and how were they resolved ultimately?
Unfortunately,
Mm.
unfortunately, we were not involved in the logistics. That's the
Right,
diaspora commission. What we
right.
did, the instruction were given to carry out by the Minister of Foreign Affairs was to work with the missions to compile names. So for your friend who was stranded, we had to provide information, send an email here, do this there, this is the
Mm.
procedure, this is what will happen,
Mm.
and all that. So I cannot tell
Yes.
you exactly what went on because NIDCOM was not involved in the logistics. But then the minister
Right.
has apologized, and I hope that the apology was accepted. It was quite embarrassing, let's face it, it was really, really bad. But
Mm.
as the messages were coming in, we were sending to the
Share
presidential
them.
task force, telling
Mm.
them this is the problem on ground, these people have been there. When the minister said 2 hours, I said, no, 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 it's not 2 hours, it's been there for 6 hours. So
Right.
whatever the logistics problem, unfortunately, I can't tell because we're not
Oh,
part
wow.
of the logistics. But what we also did by the time they got to Abuja was
Mhm.
to call the NCDC guys that were with them to find out what was really
Right.
the most important need. So on our part, as a
Right.
diaspora commissioner, and I hope your friend will confirm that we gave
Yes.
everybody packets of water because
Yes.
our staff that when they realized that listen, if there's anything they need, it is water. And you know
Mm.
what it is with water when you're staying for 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and then some are fasting. So we're able to give
Mm.
everybody a carton of water. Some got two, and those that came from America, we also sent water to them. Then we engaged with some of them who were able to
Mm.
reach some of my staff and so some needed soap, some needed tissue paper, some needed little things which we gave to them. So that's what we did on our own personal level. But in terms of
Right.
logistics, I have no idea whatsoever. Every question in that regard has to go to the Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Right. Right. Um, so I know. the next question I want to ask is about, how your sense of how Nigerians from across the world. But just before that, because of the evacuation, some Nigerians have wondered. Can you hear me, ma?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to move too close. It makes me look horrible, but okay.
Yes, okay.
Go ahead.
Yes, you look great. So people are confused. Some people are confused about the status of travel. Are people able to go out and in of the country during this time? Is that something? Because so some Nigerians heard, oh, airports are closed down. And there's a Nigerians heard, oh, some people are coming in, and there's, okay, does that mean airports are not closed down? Does that mean that billionaires with private jets can leave the country? Does that mean we are not in this together? What exactly is the status of international travel at this point in time?
Again, I'm not the right person to answer that question. But what the federal government did was based on requests from Nigerians abroad. But like I said, we helped the coordinating along with the missions. We got about 4,000 requests from Nigerians who said we want to come back home. These are Nigeria. These are not Nigerians living abroad. These are Nigerians who were stuck. They traveled for one thing or the other. Some went for medicals, some went for vacation, some went for courses, some went for family things, some went for some program, and they got stuck.
Yeah.
So they said we want to come back home. So it is the responsibility of the government to bring them back home, as other countries have done. And like I said, we got 4,000, over 4,000 from 75 countries. In Australia, there's a family that wants to come back. But in Australia, there are about 6 so far that have registered. How do you get a plane to bring 6 people back? Can they charter a plane? Those are the things. So the highest numbers came from the UK, USA, UAE, and China. And then India too has a lot of numbers. So, like I said, that is our own responsibility. So we did the coordination. And then when Nigerians there said, are you giving us palliatives? That is the palliative the federal government will give you, get you back home. And I tell you truly, some people sit back and say, what nonsense. You need to hear what we hear. You need to hear a mother who wants to come home to my children. You need to see the woman who, while she was in America, her husband died here.
Oh dear.
And she wanted to come back. So you need to see the kind of pressure and the kind of trauma that some people are going to. And the most importantly, Chude, you need to know that home is home. No matter where you are, there's no place like home. There were some people who actually, there's a particular guy who lives in the UK, but he said, no, I'm not saying this lockdown. I want to be somewhere in the East now with his family. So, like I said, whether flights are leaving, carrying people, I don't know. But we did what we're told to do, compile names, and we compiled names, and we're glad that as we speak today, 669 have returned. Whether more will return, again, will be the decision of the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Right.
We carry out instructions.
Right. Fantastic. So it's important to get that out of the way because, because Nigerians see you engaging on social media and often so I understand why many of the questions that people are just looking for some sort of clarity from anybody who seems like they may have answers.
And I answer the questions, but I always tell them where to direct it to. And some of the things that comes to us, in the course of it, for instance, anything trafficking or somebody is lost, they come to us, which is okay. So we do what we can. We also tell them that, trafficking issues is not our primary responsibility. There's NAPTIP. Right. So what we do is forward those issues to NAPTIP, work with NAPTIP. But okay, take the girl that was stranded in Lebanon where somebody wanted to steal her. We could do it, so we did. Getting in touch with the mission, putting it on the table, telling them, and then we're able to track the person. And because there was a lockdown, the guy could not run away. So, we do what we can, but those that, in fact, it's like everybody asks me every question, whether it's diaspora or not.
Exactly.
And we just said, okay, why don't you go to this place? Why don't you answer this way? Some people said to me, oh, you're so patient, you take everything. It's part of the job.
Yeah.
Even the insult, that is not yours, it's not your job. But it's okay, it's part of the job. You're part of the government.
Yeah, I understand that. Okay. So you share some of these stories. Some of these stories from, I had a friend who is stuck in South Africa. Not a lot of people, and I do know how I kept trying to imagine myself being stuck out of, first, I don't like being out of Nigeria in the first place.
Yeah.
So my own is particularly bad, but I can imagine myself being stuck outside of this country at this time, in a nation that's not mine, at a time when people are panicked and are afraid in different countries, when people are suspecting other nations of, bringing diseases into their countries and all of that. I can imagine how panicked a person in a foreign land will be. How have you, in your engagement with people, what have been some of their biggest fears? and what have been some of the ways that you've helped them walk through those biggest fears, whether they are coming back home or whether they are remaining in those countries?
Yeah, actually, I think that is part of the biggest things we had to do because
Mm,
we're accessible. I have a
mm,
team of young guys that I assign them to various countries. So somebody is in charge of UK, USA, so they answer all the questions, And then we've developed the artificial intelligence chatbot, where we're able to get. I think we got almost about 200, regular questions.
okay.
So, and that was our greatest work actually in managing information in consulting some of them. Okay, an 82-year-old man says
Mm,
that look, no matter what, me, I just want to go there.
home.
Me, I just want to go there. I must do everything. Da, da, da. But then there's another 82-year-old man who says, listen, do you think I should go? And then
Hmm,
they
hmm,
advise me.
hmm,
So so you have different circumstances and we try to just say, okay, what are the issues? Okay, there's a gentleman. I mean, you've spent all your money. You are living on there's virtually nothing for you to spend again. And you're saying that, okay, I'm afraid of catching COVID-19. They are putting negative and positive together. Should I go? At that point, you have to make up your mind.
hmm,
What is the biggest risk for you? But there are some parents who decided that no, 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 no. Particularly for the UK, if I'm going on the plane, not knowing the COVID-19 status of the
the-
people I'm flying with, I'm not going. So we
yeah.
just give them all the facts. And allow. There's a mother with 3 children, and the last minute she decided that her children will not come on that plane because she would not be sure of what will happen. So by the time the UK thing
Mm,
happened, she said she was glad her children did not come. So it depends really, but what we ensured was that we answered every question as
yeah.
forthrightly as we could. And like I said, it wasn't just me, I had staff that are assigned to everybody. Like today now, Canada has been cancelled. It was supposed to come on the 14th of May. It's been cancelled. So somebody has
Right.
been calling my staff in China and saying, listen, I've paid so amount of money. What do I do? So he guides them to the person to ask the questions. So I think we're on the
Right.
phone every day. We're on media every day trying to answer these questions and trying to do that to the best of our ability. Also making them know that the commission it really is not involved in the logistics. For instance, the flight council from Canada now, even we don't know why, but we are there to try to get them answers, ask them and get it done. So we keep at that. We keep at that.
And so it's I know because I've been following. I know that many of these questions have already been answered. In terms of even online and through this chat bot. But so what is the procedure? Is it that when anybody is anywhere around the world, they can reach to ask any question? And what I know that scientists
Sorry, I
countries.
lost you there. Can you repeat the question?
Okay, right. I said I know that some of these questions have been answered online. I've seen you answer some of the questions I'm going to ask. But for people who are just connecting with you for the first time through this chat, I'm going to ask some of them. Can you hear me, ma?
Yes, yes, yes.
So is it that wherever you are in the world, no matter what country you are in, you can just call the numbers, even people who are in countries where you don't have an assigned person, because obviously logistics process, you assign people to particular countries where a lot of Nigerians, like and the US and the UAE and India and China and all of that. But apart from those, can anybody outside the country to do?
Oh yes. Oh
Right,
yes. We
right.
have like I said, we have numbers. They're all out there, and there's the info. I can even give you if I get it now. I can give everything to you. It doesn't matter what part of the world you are, as long as you can reach us, and we can reach you.
Right.
So yes, like what did we just do with? There was something I dealt with today. What was it? Sorry, we're not there. There was something I just dealt with today. So and then I have a legal department. Okay, there are some
Right.
issues today from the UAE where about 19 Nigerians they haven't been paid salaries, they stopped working, they collected their passports and everything. So we've handed it to the mission. So yes, anywhere you are in
Right.
the world. However, the idea is that we
Mhm.
will allow you to we will not allow any Nigerian to be treated anyhow. If you commit a crime, you have to pay for it.
Yes.
Take
Yes.
Tanzania. We had 73
Right.
Nigerians in Tanzanian prisons,
Mhm.
a lot of them without trial for years. But the mission was able to get 60 of them pardoned. So they will bring them back to Nigeria. But then,
Right.
while he was doing that and running around, he came home to see what can be done, how can they come back? And most of them are drug related offenses right at the airport. Some Nigerians were returning home after working in Tanzania, returning home, and they caught one of them with hard drugs. Now that guy is now back in prison. So is he now going to go to prison and start shouting that diaspora commission, get me out of here?
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying? So we should also be good ambassadors of our country. So we keep stressing that let's be good ambassadors. But for okay, there was a guy from Kenya, Smart. Smart went to Kenya. There were 3 of them. They got into trouble for not having their papers. They were illegal migrants. They didn't have documentation. Okay, so we got involved. Smart says he wants to come back home. The mission was able to get reprieve for them. Okay, when it was time, there were 3. When it was time, 2 of them went with fake documents. They had fake names. That itself is a crime in Kenya. So that's another offense. They have to pay the penalty. So Smart was the only one that had his right documentation. So we brought him back home. And you know what he said to us? 6 months I was in prison in Tanzania, he would have completed his education. So he with us, like, he comes to the commission all the time. He's back to doing his IT job. We connected him with the Kaduna State. He's from Kaduna State and all that. And there are many like that. I think the 2 students that went to Bosnia and Herzegovina, they said they were going to play table tennis. At the end of playing table tennis, they started walking abroad. And they arrested them, checked their bags. There was no table tennis item in their bag. So they suspected them that you said you came to play table tennis, but there's no table tennis equipment in your bag. Whatever happened, the mission worked on it. We brought them back home. So yes, we do. And not everything. There are some that really can't do anything about, like in Northern Cyprus. And I'm going to use this video to tell people about Northern Cyprus. Avoid going to Northern Cyprus. They come here to tell you there are schools there. Please, Chude, every time everybody run from Northern Cyprus. If they say come to school here. Number one, it's not recognized by the United Nations. So that means Nigeria does not recognize it. It's recognized only by Turkey. So if you get into trouble in Northern Cyprus, there's nothing we can do. We had a lot of killings in Northern Cyprus. So we keep saying there's one happening now. Again, a Nigerian fought with somebody trying to murder, but there's really nothing we can do. We don't have any relationship with them. So avoid Northern Cyprus. They come here to say people come to school. It's attractive, it's cheap, but it's dangerous. Very, very dangerous. So yes, as long as we get the information, we help out.
What have been some of the most, have there any moments out of all of these that have inspired you in terms of people coming together, banding together on this, people reaching out a helping hand? Have there been any stories of hope, of inspiration, shock you over the past 1.5 months since this really hit home in Nigeria, whether locally or internationally?
Oh yes, quite a few. In fact, just today, I got a message from some twins in Brazil. I'm going to put the message out there where they were talking about how they just lost their uncle to COVID-19 and how devastated they are. And they're telling us all that, listen, this is real. And they're telling us that they blamed their president, but now they know that we should blame ourselves if we don't obey laws. And I don't know where to even start from. Is it from the UK where we lost quite a number of Nigerians who were on the front line of tackling COVID-19? Or is it from, there are so many, I don't know which one you want me to do. Of course, there are also stories of survival, of inspiration, of, oh, we made it. Even from Dubai, those that came from Dubai, there was a 2-year-old boy who had a medical condition. He was struck there with his mother. He came back, he got there, and the father was very worried. His son has a medical condition. And we were able to, talk to NCDC, got intervention. The son got tested, it was negative, and they made him take his son away. So you have to put human touch some of these regulations. He's just 2 years old. And the guy is so excited. His son is with him, self-isolating, but it could not be, he had to be home. So there are also stories of, take the girl who got a baby on board Emirates Airlines. Did you hear that story? On board Emirates
No, I didn't,
Airlines.
but I heard it, but I don't have the details. Yes.
Okay, they were about coming. She was one of those coming from Dubai, and then she fell in the labor mid-air. After 30 minutes into the flight, Emirates Airline had to return back to Dubai, and she had the baby on board. Emirates Airline returned to Dubai, and she went back to hospital. In the hospital with her baby, she's just been, the baby, she has been discharged, but the baby has not been discharged. And they named the baby today. She had a naming ceremony for the baby today. So people have been saying, what do we call your baby? Some say pilot or Koro disappear or something. But then that is also a story that came out of in this particular situation. So there are quite a few. I could go on and on, but there are quite a few. But the most important thing is that we must show love to one another. We must support one another. And for me to have Nigerians in the diaspora at this point in time, when people are not earning salaries, businesses are closed, they are coming together to donate. As of today, they'll be able to raise a few millions of naira to give back to the society, to say they want to buy particularly equipment for frontline workers. To me, is very touching. $100, $50 here, putting together to say no matter how hard it is for us, we want to help folk. That to me is one of the most inspirational stories from the diaspora that we'll be telling.
I'm very happy to hear that. I'm very happy because at these times we need those kinds of stories to keep us going. I want to talk about, people have wondered about, remittances from the diaspora. Does this whole fluidity, this whole uncertainty, how has that affected, that entire flow?
Well, to a large extent, now something is going to happen. Definitely, remittances will be affected. We expect remittances to drop. I don't think there's any rocket science about it. Already, we're going to have a conversation with the Swiss Development Agency, with the World Bank on the issue of so it's going to affect remittances. Let's face it. But beyond remittances, let me tell you what might be the positive aspect of it. Nigerians in the diaspora are seeing the need more than ever before to not be too distant from home. Even if it's now we're going to have a diaspora investment fund where we'll encourage them with your money in the fund. It's for you. Where they can decide, okay, let's deal with what they want to do with infrastructure, whatever it is. So they are seeing more than ever before. I spoke to a group of 50 yesterday. They just got themselves together into a WhatsApp group and we're talking. And it's like, these are serious professionals. These are top notch in America. And they're working together now to say, we want to do something at home. We want to invest. We want to do A, B, C, D. So the upside of it is the realizing the fact that no matter where you are, home will always be home. And we're not saying pack your bags and come home. It's okay, you don't have to. But you can do something home. And then there's a program with the Ministry of Water Resources called the Clean Toilets Initiative, Hope Wash, OPS Wash. That had been coming on is the fact that, and it's been, is a UNICEF project with Ministry of Water Resources, the Diaspora Commission is actually involved. Now we're saying wash your hands. Are you going to wash your hands if you don't have water? And that project was saying we should stop open defecation in Nigeria from 2020. We gave it a deadline. And that's what we're thinking. You still go on the street and find people peeing on the streets or pooing on the streets. Now COVID-19 has come. Whether we like it or not, we must be clean. We must ensure sanitation. So this will now tackle into post-COVID-19. How do you stay clean? It's very important. So apart from staying safe, stay clean. So that again is a big project that I want the diaspora to be involved in. Every village, every community must have a toilet with running water. Because the whole thing we're coming up with is how do we remain clean, hygienic is very key to, even if there's a vaccine, we must
still have to take care
work on our hygiene. So that will be post-COVID-19, we're already working on.
Right, fantastic. A question that might be out of your remit, but I want to know whether you have any perspectives on this. People have been excited about the Madagascar cure, for instance, and other possible homegrown, remedies that Africans and Nigerians fear that the rest of the world will not take seriously. What are your perspectives on that? Have you engaged with that on any level? Do you have any thoughts on that on any level? I know that obviously that's a matter for the Ministry of Health, that's a matter for the Presidential Committee, that's a matter for the NCDC. But just because you engage largely with Nigerians outside of Nigeria, what are your perspectives on that?
Oh, is there anybody that hasn't talked about the Madagascar case? I'm sure we all have. In fact, just yesterday, somebody sent something and said, look, this is the Madagascar cure. Says right here in Nigeria, and said it's something leaf, which is dogoyaro leaves. Garlic, a certain amount of lime and lemon and something. And said this is the concoction that they only just mixed it together. And me, in my own home, we've been mixing the dogoyaro leaf with garlic, ginger, and drinking it every day. So So the person said, this is the Madagascar cure. But I don't know whether
Right.
it's true or not,
Or
but
not.
we've all been having the conversation. But here is my take on it.
Mhm.
Madagascar is sending that medication to all African countries, and they're saying try it. When it comes
Right.
to Nigeria, it's going to NAFDAC.
Right.
NAFDAC will put it up for trial before
Right.
they're not bringing it also take it. So
Mm.
NAFDAC will put it up for trial, and then we
Mhm.
take it from there. But one thing is certain: as
Mm.
Africans, we should not let anybody look down on us or
Mm.
tell us whatever is coming out of Africa is not good. I
Mm.
think whatever cure, I'm still optimistic. I'm not in a science, but I still believe that the cure for coronavirus is in Africa.
Right.
But to those who will make it happen, those who will say they are doing the studies and qualify will probably not want us to do that. But I believe,
Mm. Mm.
and I think I hear my great grandfather in heaven say, "Yeah, right on, God." And that cure, we'll find it, we'll find it right here in Africa. So I think we shouldn't look down on anything that's coming out of the African continent. The Madagascar cure, NAFDAC will look at it, but don't let us look down on ourselves because they are going to tell you, no, it's not it. But hey, there are things around us that I think can work. But again, like you said, it's not our remit, but we
Mm.
should not just throw everything away,
Right.
you know.
Right.
And
I
then,
was going to ask. I was going to ask about. People have pushed back on government when government says, you know, stay at home, be clean, all of that. And people have said, is it really fair, in a country where, um, at least 100 million people are living under $1 a day? Is it really fair to expect them to maintain the kinds of standards of hygiene that I, for instance, can maintain because of my privilege? Is it not a sign of how disconnected government is from the people to be asking for people who don't even have access to clean, regular water? Are we not putting the cart before the horse? And when, for instance, government says, look, we've opened the country down and people are crowding in the bus stops, and people are saying, look, if people are at risk of losing their jobs because they need to get to work on time, because some banks are open and some other companies are open, is it fair to put that burden on them when we know that we have a dysfunctional transportation network in the country? Again, not your remit, but is it fair, because you mentioned that about water, is it fair to expect that particular standard of hygiene that may only come if a person has a level of resources, access, and knowledge?
well, I think first thing is what has come out of all this is the need for data.
Mm.
The need for data. Let me move closer. The need for data is very, very important. I think that has been clear that without data, you can't do anything. We actually don't have data, actually data of
Mm.
Nigerians earning a certain level, and that was made the thing a bit controversial from the onset. So, but again, this is where I look at it. It's a war situation. We're at war with something we can't see. So if you're in a war situation, nobody will beg us not to go out. If you're in a war situation, you go and hide under, if possible, if you have a basement, if you have something you want to go under because you don't want to be killed. So I
Mm.
think if that was the messaging that we had, maybe people will
Mm.
understand better. So
Right.
I just see it as a war situation. Even me,
Right.
I went to work today, but I did it reluctantly. I've been going, but I've been doing it reluctantly. And it's because I don't
Mm.
have a choice. So if you have
Mm.
a choice, stay home. Now, as
Mm.
I understand the problem, I mean, some
Mm.
people, their daily living is on 1,000 naira a day. And which is where the issue, that's why I said the issue of data comes in. If we're able to really target these people and help them
Mm.
out, there'll be less, whatever. But we have a problem with data, and I believe that the
Mm.
government is doing everything to make that happen. So it's a catch-22 situation.
Yeah.
We
Mm.
go to the bus stops, we all crowd together, and then we die. Or
Yeah.
we do everything
Mhm.
possible to stay safe, stay home. And then some people say that if we don't go anywhere, we'll die. So it's a catch-22 situation. But the way I see it is that just take it as a war situation. But government also has to play its role of ensuring that the people at the lower end of the ladder does get help. Okay, somebody sent a message not too long ago and said, hey, see, we went to a cash machine and said, see what the government of so and so is giving. Is it Canada? See what the government of Canada is actually sent us a message, showed the Canadian dollars. But that's your tax. It's a tax refund. They refunded you the tax you have been paying. How efficient is our tax system? Here. And then you have the homeless that already have a data, so you know what to give to them. So again, I think this should just make us look at our lapses as a nation and build on them, which is what President Buhari is actually doing. And look at the other part of it. President Buhari has been saying agriculture, grow rice, do made in Nigeria. It's paying off now. Now we're able to produce masks, we're able to produce sanitizer. This sanitizer here was made in Nigeria. You know, so let's look at the other side of which is that we can do things ourselves. There are things we don't need to rely on from abroad, and we can create jobs. So I mean, and I'm so impressed with young people that are coming out with creative things. It's very impressive. So let's look at the brighter side. But the first side is let us survive.
Let us survive.
If you're
Yes, I
dead,
like
you
that.
can't
It's
even
the work.
complain. So let us survive first before we
That is,
even, you know.
that's true. If you're in a
So
war situation, we have war protocol. That's essentially what.
exactly, you have war
And this,
protocol, and
yeah,
you
yeah,
won't be talking about you won't even go out. So don't talk about crowd and buster. But I agree
right.
that government really has to make the palliatives very, very effective. And it's not just
Accessible.
about government, and this is where the spirit of love and brotherliness and togetherness is coming in. Like I said, I'm so impressed with the diasporas that are putting something together. I'm so
Yeah,
impressed with, I mean, I know some young chaps in Lagos, they just come in and they want to feed 400 people. And
yeah,
they're going to do that over the weekend. So
yeah.
look at, people just going around giving food. That spirit of love and togetherness, I think, should prevail. Doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what language you speak. Let's show love and be united. I think that for me should be the message and the spirit of all this after it's all over.
That is true. I'm going to take a question. There's some questions on the Facebook. Again, these are that I'll take two of them. I know that again, these are answers that you've given, but I'll just ask them again. One is a pandemic focused question, the one is non-pandemic. One says, as a returnee who is on quarantine in Abuja, many of us are from other states, not Abuja. What plans are being made to make sure we get to our various states,
Yeah,
especially
again,
when there is a lockdown?
that's a question that we've been asking. But again, all those questions are forwarded to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, who will decide what to do after the lockdown for those who don't live in Abuja. So the Minister of Foreign Affairs is aware. I know he said it at one of the briefings that they will make arrangements. Again, those are logistics issues that will be handled by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, who is in the PTF. So the question I've already forwarded to the minister, and they will just take that decision on what to do with.
What's the best place? What's the best place for people to get these? So for instance, when these questions are forwarded, do people wait for your commission to bring the answers back, or is there like a public space where they
No,
can
there
put?
are people. No, they are working. NCDC and the Foreign Affairs are with them. So when this
Okay,
message gets,
please.
like I can't get to the quarantine center. They're not
Yes,
allowed to go there. You can.
yes, right.
The person who answered the question, the sister and brother cannot. So let them watch. They
Yeah,
have
just the
television
person.
there, so they have to watch television to ask questions from the PTF. They brief every day. But like I said, we
Right,
pass the message to them. They know how to reach them. What we did, like I
right.
said, when they came was we were able to give the water to the officials there. We couldn't even go in and just say, look, just help us give
Right,
to everybody. So really, these are not normal
right.
times, and we are not really in
Yeah,
control of it. So, but the minister is aware, has answered it, and they have said they will now maybe calculate those that are leaving, and because the key thing is that how do you move about if there's a lockdown? Do you get a special flight arrangement? I don't know. I can't answer that question, but we've pushed it to the Minister of Foreign Affairs who will tackle it appropriately. But I know that those are lockdown are counting the days.
yeah,
It's like, oh,
yeah,
we've done 3 days because they want to get out of
yeah,
there. We've done 3 days.
yeah.
And don't forget that they will test them. When they
Right.
test them, they will test them twice. Those that are
Mm.
negative will leave. Hopefully nobody will be positive, but if they are positive, they will send you
You have to
to treatment
stay
for
for
treatment.
that. Right. The second question I'm taking is a non-pandemic question, and I'm sure you've answered this question again before, but I'll take it. In the US, why is the process of obtaining international passports complex? The agent India company is not professional. Can a Nigerian company take it up to deliver quality?
Well, those complaints are being looked at, and immigration actually, I don't know when the gentleman had that experience, but yeah, there was a time it was problematic. And the only reason was because there was a time Nigeria was migrating to 10-year validity passport. So during that period, there was scarcity of passports. But that particular problem is being resolved. So yes, there was a problem. It was really, really bad because we were migrating. And the 10-year validity passport is for Nigerians in the diaspora. So what that means is that you don't need to bother about your passport for 10 years. So I believe that has been resolved. there's been
Right.
series of engagements with immigration. And then another thing is now you have a visa on arrival policy. So with your expired passport, you can come home. You can come home with your expired passport.
Right. So
Your
for
your
immediate
child,
concerns, right.
yes, your child, if you have a child, once you prove that you are the parent, you can come home and then get a visa on arrival. And then when you're home, you can work on getting your passport. So two things have been done to make it easier. Now your passport is 10 years. Now with the expired passport, come home and get it if you can't go through the process abroad. So I think there's been a bit of progress in that regard. And
Right.
whatever you say is slow and everything, immigration really
Mhm.
is working on that with the nation.
Okay, fantastic. At this time, we're rounding up now. We have 3 minutes to go. If there is something you would like to say to people home and abroad at this time, that we are in a war against an invisible enemy, what would you say to them?
Well, I will just join in praying because nobody can explain this. And rich poor it has affected
Mm,
everybody. Like somebody said, the
mm,
rich also cry. I remember in
mm,
the early days of the pandemic, somebody was complaining. I said, at home too, I didn't have power. There was time water wasn't running.
mm,
You have a big generator and a small generator, and both packed up, and there's nobody to fix it for you because it can't move.
mm,
So when there's no
mm,
light, there's no light.
mm,
So it's like
mm.
we're all in this together, and let's
Together.
pray that the Lord heals the world. But for now, it's a tough time. Let's listen to instructions.
Right.
If you don't have to
Listen.
go out, stay home. Observe social distancing. Always have your sanitizer, disinfect, be clean, be hygienic. There's a colleague of mine in Katsina
Right.
who right now is on treatment. He's on
Right.
self-isolation. He's being treated. He said he has no idea how he got it. He lives alone at home and
Mm,
he has a workplace not far from him with not too many people. So he said till tomorrow, I don't know how I contacted it, but it's done maybe like 8 days now, and it doesn't have any complications. So let's just stay safe. We don't understand this. Let's stay safe. Let's social distance, and most importantly, we realize that there's nothing in life. God is the ultimate. He has showed. Look at us, Muslims. This is Ramadan period. We cannot, pray in congregation. Christians who during Easter could not do anything. So God is Almighty God. We should always learn to obey and worship Him. And like
mm,
some say, maybe it's God's way of pulling us back. So you know what, you all want, you're going bonkers. Come back,
mm.
come back to me. But whatever the case is, the fact that, and then for government too,
Yeah.
the essence of governance is to take care of the welfare of the people. More than ever before, this has shown that governance has to go down to the grassroots to the people.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's a time bomb waiting to explode. But I'm also glad that President Buhari has done his best. So it's always
Mm,
been for the people. It's always said, "Let and for the poor, and for the poor, and for the poor." And this has
mm.
shown. We have no data quadra, but I started some program, Empower, another program that started under this administration, having a foundation to build on. Before there was
Right.
nothing. Then we need a social welfare, social structure. There's no debate about that. So as we move on, we need to build on that and ensure that we have accurate data. So hopefully, may the Lord heal the world. May we survive all this, and let's have a better world after COVID-19.
Thank you very much, Ma. It's usual a pleasure to speak to you candidly and personably. Well done on the work. I would say well done. And of course, here in Nigeria, when there is any gaps, they are always sure to speak up and say, look, Ma, something is going on here. We need your
Absolutely.
attention. Thank you very much. Have a fantastic breaking of fast. And I hope that we all hope we all get through this,
Amen.
and get to happy times. Thank you, Ma.
Thank you, Chude, and well done. EIE, well done. Keep us on our toes, keep us on our feet. Sometimes we don't like what you say, but you say the truth. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you.
So,
Tuesday,